And then a strange man asked us to go into the woods, so we did it. Welcome, ghoul friends, into another dip into this spooky internet world. My name is Tonya, and I am your host. Today, I am taking you on an adventure with me to Hotel Cassadaga. Just northeast of Orlando, the town of Cassadaga is allegedly full of spirits. And this comes to us from Wikipedia. The Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp began in 1875 when the Southern Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp Meeting Association was founded by George P. Colby from Pike, New York. He was a trance medium who traveled to many different states giving readings and seances, and he was well known for his travels and was even referred to as the seer of spiritualism. Pretty baller title. George Colby attended summer spiritualist camp meetings at Lilydale, New York, which was a town adjacent to Cassadaga, New York, which is actually how the Cassadaga, Florida town would get its name. It is believed that Colby worked with many spirit guides who he said kind of gave him all of his abilities. According to Colby, one of his spirit guides instructed him to travel south to Florida, where he eventually arrived at a place called Blue Springs Landing near Orange City, Florida, which him plus Sarah Winchester, ghosts like have stuff to do. They are just waiting for humans to listen. And I love that for them. I love like an ambitious ghost, you know? They're like, build this house, start a town. Why not? Colby arrived in Florida in 1875, and by December of 1894, the charter was granted to form the Southern Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp Meeting Association. And then later, in January of 1895, Colby signed a warranty deed to the association for 35 acres. The people who came to the spiritualist camp in the early days were well educated, affluent, and pretty well off. But let's talk about the hotel because this is probably one of the neatest places I've ever been. The hotel was originally built in 1901 and it became a boarding house and hotel for the spiritualist camp. They were like, we need this space, you know? However, it did burn down in 1925 and it did take 2 years to rebuild. According to newspapers, an older man did die due to this fire, and it would take about 2 years for them to rebuild. However, in the 70s, due to financial difficulties, the camp had to sell the hotel to a new owner. So now Hotel Casadega is actually no longer associated with the Southern Spiritualist Camp. However, it still holds true to where it's come from and its roots, and it is still a really neat place to go. And haunted. So, what are my expectations? Oof. So, we only booked one night, right? Which I think was pretty affordable. It was about $140. And I think I just wanted to have a little fun. I've had a really crazy year of a lot of change, good change, but change. And I just wanted a break from the rigmarole, I guess. And the idea of going to a place where you step in and it's kind of this submersive experience of just spiritualism is really intriguing. And so my goal is just to feel inspired and renewed. So I arrived before my friend, and it was really easy to check in. I went to the front desk, gave my information, and honestly, I was really eager to get to our room. It was like 99 degrees outside, and my car AC had just broken, and I had been driving for like 3 hours. So I was really ready to just take a shower. Now, I love that our room was one of the internal rooms. When we made the reservation, they did say they had some external rooms, but again, with the heat in the summer, if you can go for an internal room, I just have a feeling those rooms cool down quite a bit easier than maybe some of the external rooms. Once my friend Natalie arrived, we found a boil place nearby. It was about 10 minutes away. It was called Fire on the Bayou. If you like boil, if you like crawfish, things like that, it was honestly the best I'd ever have. And this is like, I have only ever had New Orleans boils, and Fire on the Bayou was better. It was absolutely phenomenal. Please go. I freaking loved it. And I was so sad I couldn't eat more because it was amazing. Now, when we got back, Natalie wanted to do a full reading. So, how it works there is every day they have a list of psychics available, and you can go and pick out your psychic, almost like picking out a lobster from like a lobster tank. Like, they're like, here they are, and it's like their pictures, and you have to pick one, and then you can schedule your reading. So, Natalie went and got a full reading, whereas I decided to get a chakra healing. And I am not someone who quite understands Reiki. It doesn't matter how much it's explained to me. It doesn't matter how much I've read on it. And I've had quite a few done. And I don't get it. So when I have the opportunity to go experience it, I will, because I'm endlessly fascinated by things I don't quite have a grasp on. And that's one of them. So Natalie's reading went really well. Unfortunately, she had just lost her cat the day before our arrival, and she was really struggling with guilt over still coming despite that. And plus, her pet just died, so she had a lot of feelings. And when she got her reading, she said that the reader said that she had a message from a furry friend in heaven. And I think it really validated her and it made her feel really good. And it made her feel better about going on the trip for sure. As for my chakra healing, it was enjoyable. I mean, anytime you get to lay down for like an extended amount of time and close your eyes, it's pretty amazing. But basically, the woman who did my healing, she used tuning forks to kind of move energy around. And I'm going to say it is a really interesting sensation to be poked with tuning forks. Also, if you get the opportunity, go for it. It was really fun. Again, I still don't really get the chakra Reiki thing. I just don't. But I'm happy to experience it. And I'm happy to try it out. And I like to think I'm open-minded, and I had a good time. She did say that my heart chakra was wide open. She did point out my foot, and she's like, "Yeah, I really struggled with your foot." And I did feel her poking at it for quite a while. And the foot she was struggling with is actually the foot I had almost broken months ago. So I thought that was really interesting. And all in all, I was pretty satisfied with it. Again, when you get to lay down, it's just nice. Next, we went across the street to a place that was doing aura readings. Now, let me tell you what I thought this was. I think we've all seen the pictures on social media. They're like cute little Polaroid pictures of people in cocktail attire, and then they have like their aura, and it's just really beautiful. Um, I always think of Anna Marie Tendler. She's posted those, and I just think they're really neat. And that's kind of what I thought it was. However, that is not the case. What it was like there was a webcam and a software, and it would like use the webcam and then determine your aura. It was still pretty cool for $35. So both me and Natalie got a reading. And what was interesting is because I just had the Reiki healing, getting an aura reading directly after was really interesting. And I think if you go, you should also do that because it was really wild to have the aura reading, which like do I believe to have the aura reading kind of match up with the Reiki healing. So again, these are two separate businesses. But when I did my aura reading, she said the same thing. She said, "Oh, your heart chakra's wide open." She said, "You probably don't have any trouble talking." And I was like, "No, I talk for a living." So that makes sense. And she said, "Oh, you have like perfect balance between mind, body, and spirit, 33, 33, 33." I thought that was really neat. I think Natalie had like 50% mind and then like other percentages. And it was really cool. You get a printout. We got like a whole printout. And it was really neat because at the end of the night, we took our printouts out and we like compared our auras, and it was a lot of fun. After the R reading, we went to the cemetery, but you're going to have to hear about that in another video because it's an entirely different topic. But after we had our cemetery time, which again, it was hot. Hot, 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 hot. As someone who spends all of my time in both New Orleans and Florida, it's just hot constantly. And I grew up here. You know what I mean? I grew up in the South. It's hot. And anyways, it was really hot. So we got back as soon as we could so we could kind of rinse off and shower and all of that. And then we saw signs that during the weekdays, and I don't know if it's every weekday, but the day we were there, it was a Thursday, they had readings in the lobby from 5 to 8. And I think it was like 15 minutes for like $25. And we both really wanted to do this. And they also have an attached restaurant. So our game plan, we had wine with us. Our game plan was to drink a little wine, go get our little mini readings, go have dinner at the attached restaurant, and then go back to our room to summon ghosts. So that's what we did. I had my little mini reading, which was really nice. I think my question was, am I heading in the right direction with my life? I've had a lot of change, and my future trajectory just looks a lot different than it did 6 months ago. So I just wanted to know if I was heading in the right direction. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I ever got an answer on that, but we had a really nice chat. The person who read for me, I believe her name was Nora. I believe, was very sweet and kind, and we talked a lot. And I'm pretty sure she gave me more time than was the 15 minutes, and it was just an absolutely lovely experience. We then had dinner at the hotel. Nope. We then had dinner at the restaurant, which was full of locals, which I think kind of surprised me. I actually thought it was going to be just us because I think we were the only people staying there that night. We didn't see a single other guest. So we kind of thought it would be just us in the restaurant, and I was kind of worried. I was like, "Oh, if we don't go, will they close early?" I don't know. So we went and it was popping. Every local was there. There was a piano man singing, and we had dinner and it was wonderful. Now, at this point, we are kind of sticking out a little bit like a sore thumb. And the reason is because the other patronage was just much more mature and older. And we definitely we definitely stood out a little bit, me and my friend. And one of the employees actually came up and was like, "Hey, have you seen the fairy trails?" And we were like, "No, we haven't seen the fairy trails." And this person was like, "Okay, well, I get off work in an hour. I'll take you." So we're like, "Okay, do we want to go into the woods at night with a stranger?" And we did. We did. We went into the woods with a stranger. What do you do? We had, we were protected, and we gave this person's name and number to multiple people who weren't there with us. So if anything happens, they would know who we were with. But we did go. It was fun. The employee took us the person, I don't want to get this person like in trouble. The person took us and it was really neat. And we were also able to like poke for drama. So, one thing that was completely hard to ignore was the tension in the hotel. Every corner we turned, every step we took, we could just tell that there was like high employee drama, and it was like constant. No matter where you went or turned, someone was mad at someone for something. And like I said, I'm pretty sure we were the only guests. So it was like inescapable. And I was so desperate to know what this drama was. And I was telling Natalie, I was like, "Do you think if we give the reader an extra $20, she'll tell us the drama?" But like neither of us had the guts to do that. But when we're alone with this employee in the woods, we're like, "So what's the drama? Like, what's going on?" And it was really interesting. This person was like, "Oh, you guys can like sense that?" And we're like, yeah, it is tense here." And this person told us the little bit of drama that they knew, but they didn't know a lot. But it was just really interesting. So we had a good time. Even though this person didn't expect it, I still tipped them because I believe everyone's labor deserves to be paid. and we had a lot of fun. Finally, as the night was winding down, we kind of got the opportunity to walk around the dark hotel a little bit, which was a lot of fun. And then we took the opportunity to try to communicate with the ghosts of the hotel. And I brought some fun little tools to play with. I brought a yes and no coin, I brought a pendulum. And I really wanted to bring a Ouija board, but my good one was in New Orleans, and I couldn't find like a cheapy one at Walmart. And so we kind of had to stick with like the few things we had, but we had a good time. So we did end up coming into contact with a spirit who was a little boy. We talked to him a little bit. We asked him, "Hey, are you a teenager?" And he said, "No." "Are you a child?" And he said, "Yes." And we said, "Do you like that we're talking to you?" And he said, "Yes." However, he did seem like confused. It was really clear. He didn't really understand everything going on. He was a little confused and all of that. So that was really nice. It was nice to kind of connect to the spirit, to chat with him a little bit, to hopefully, if it was real, make him feel seen. And what was really interesting is as we were leaving our room to kind of go explore, we noticed a shrine that we hadn't noticed before directly next to our door. And it was a little shrine of toys. And we're like, weird because we were just like talking to a ghost child. So the next morning, we asked the innkeeper or the housekeeper, "Oh, what's with that shrine?" And she said, "There's little kid ghosts that play in the hotel, so people leave those toys for them." And that was just really validating, I think, of our experience. The housekeeper also told us that there is a woman who likes to stay in our room to contact her passed away husband because I guess they would go there a lot for vacation. And she says that when they're in that room, things will happen, things will move, and things like that. But we didn't have any of those experiences. So there is Hotel Cassadaga. So what did I learn? Oh, I learned that you can really just have a goal, and if you have enough money, you can build your own town of ghosts. Is that like not the dream? And I love that. Also, that you can kind of make a living off of things you enjoy. And clearly, the people in that area and that town enjoy what they do. Someone told us that people have to like be approved to live there, and I think that's really interesting. Um, so yeah, has my initial opinion changed? I do think my expectations were a little high, and I think it's just because I had been going through, kind of a lot recently, and I really wanted an escape from that. But as someone who works in the metaphysical money world, sometimes we are reminded that even people in the metaphysical world are just people, right? They can't solve all our problems. There's still going to be drama and there's still going to be tension. The only thing I regret is not trying to get more information out of the psychic doing the mini readings about the drama in the hotel. I feel like she would know. So that's my one thing I would change. So would I do it again? Yes, I did find it really enjoyable. I will say if you're coming for the summer, stay in an internal room. I have a feeling they're easier to cool down than the external rooms. And I had a good time. I would go back. I would go with a friend. I don't see this as a place that would be very enjoyable alone. I definitely think you need a friend in tow with you. Until next time, ghoul friends, keep your candles lit and your planchette at the ready because clearly the spirits are waiting.